of questions. We all know CISA plays an important role. Sector Risk Management Agency for 8 of the 16 critical infrastructure sectors, as well as the National Coordinator of the Sector Risk Management Agencies. They do a lot of work. I'd like to hear from you all. What do you think? How would you assess CISA's effectiveness as a partner when it comes to OT cybersecurity? We can start with Ms. Zetter if you want.
I don't have direct, because I'm not a practitioner, so I don't have that assessment to know firsthand. But what I do know is that CISA in the past had, I would say in the last decade really, a lot of expertise that they were able to give to critical infrastructure, either to go out into the field and do critical assessments of the networks, give them risk assessments about what they needed to do, and then also they had flyaway teams that when a system was compromised, that they would be able to go out and assist directly in doing some kind of remediation. So I think that the impact of CISA has been really great, but of course they're limited in their resources and who they can give assistance to.
I would say that my commentary about CISA probably is reflective of a number of government agencies that deal in this space, which is really good Americans trying really hard to do good work that have very talented people, but are hardly being effective for the amount of money we're spending on it in comparison to what's happening elsewhere. As an example, flyaway teams, the incident response teams, et cetera, there's absolutely nothing unique happening there in comparison already in the private sector. I think there's a very important role and responsibility for government to play, and I think a focused CISA would be extremely impactful. And I've in passing talked to Sean Planky. I'm really excited about the way they're looking at it now. But I think a lot of times we overstate the effectiveness, and I'm sure that this is not going to earn me any friends at CISA, and many of my friends are there. But I will say that we've got a couple of years before we have significant issues. And I'm very concerned about next couple of years going to war with China and it being focused on our OT, and I would really like to move past pleasantries, so we should focus them a heck of a lot more.
Thank you.
I would say that I think CISA, can certainly grow in its effectiveness, and I think we will see that under Sean Planky. I think things like automated information sharing, the Einstein program, Cybersecurity, I think there's a number of places there where we can modernize some of that legacy infrastructure. They're operating not necessarily with the most updated sensors, and I understand that it is expensive to upgrade the systems. But if we want CISA to be acting as the frontline defense for cybersecurity and as an expert, they need to have up-to-date systems. They need to have sensors on the networks that are what is modern right now. But I think that's about it.
Dr. Gleason.
I would say some of our best and most effective work with CISA has been when they've worked in partnership with some of the other federal departments with stake in the space, in particular with the Department of Energy, looking at threats to the energy sector, and the Department of Defense looking at defense critical infrastructure. Just to echo on some earlier comments, I think CISA also works best when they do work that is appropriate to the government to do and not trying to do what the private sector is already taking care of. The government has specific advantages in our access to the intelligence community, in the ability to do things that the private sector is not or shouldn't be doing. I think the more that the government sticks to that space, the more effective that those programs will be. And I also want to echo, definitely look forward to Sean Planky coming in and very excited about Nick Anderson coming in. We've had great experiences working with him previously and think their leadership will be very effective.
I think we can all agree that we're very excited to see Sean Planky get confirmed as soon as possible. It'll be a good day for CISA to have him in there. Ms. Lee, I want to go back to, because you were very passionate in your hands today and you really want to get him focused. Can you go a little more in depth, because this is the stuff we're going to have to work on.
Stans Institute, which is the leading cybersecurity provider, analyzed every single industrial cyber attack that's ever taken place and just asked the basic question of what security controls actually worked. It was 5. And we know exactly what those 5 are. We know exactly how to do it. And if you look at regulation standards and everything else, it's not 5. Further, when you look at our rural communities, as mentioned, about 98% of this country is in that sort of below the cyber poverty line discussion, and they're not doing pretty much anything unless it's really passionate members there trying to help. But going back to what Kim said as well, you've got a large number of companies that will stand up and say how robust their security programs are, And I'm in a lot of those environments, and they're terrifying. So I have 3 kids. I did not really want to go back into the Army for extra time. It was, I really want to get this right. And I think if we're going to be serious about the conversation, it's focus on what we can actually do across the next couple of years. Pick a point of view. You're going to upset some people in doing so, but we need to do it. And at the same time, I would say you can roll out quickly. I think about 95%, anecdotally, about 95% of all cyber spend goes to enterprise IT, about 5% to OT. That is where your national security is, your environments, your local communities, and all of your ability to generate revenue. You look at sort of the visibility in this country. If you actually want to monitor your OT infrastructure, figure out, is China already there? I would say probably about 10% of the infrastructure around the country is being monitored. So when we're having big discussions about what comes next, I would just highlight that we're not even really being serious about what we know today.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.